morning. For those of you who don't know, my name is Maya Karen. I run a fashion blog called Classically Kept. It does feature luxury, contemporary, and how-to style, and now natural hair care. So if you were into any of those things, please consider subscribing to my channel. Click the notification bell. That way you will never miss a video. So today we are going to talk about, a rumor that has come to fruition, or that a rumor that is actually true. We are going to talk about the discontinuation of the Loewe puzzle bag. So let's go ahead and get started. So to me and lovers of the brand, I do not personally have anything Loewe. I do like the company. I just nothing has really, said to me, buy me. But when I think of Loewe, essentially I think of the puzzle bag. It has definitely become like a classic modern, I would say, for the brand. Once people buy them, they continue to buy them. They love them. They have them forever. It was founded, J.W. Anderson is the creative director. He debuted it in 2015. And ever since then, it has done extremely well. So I find it very interesting that one of their, best-selling bags, they are actually discontinuing. So as I said, it was debuted in 2015. We do know that it had the small, the medium, and the large. And then here recently, they did debut or introduce mini. You had a whole bunch of leathers. It comes in so many different colors, so many textures. They're always included in the collaborations. Interestingly enough, they are made in Spain. They take about 9 hours to make. Of course, they are handcrafted. And then to make the bag, it takes about 75 different pieces of leather. So while I was doing a little bit of research, I decided that I wanted to actually look up and see what's going on. Because what people are saying is if you hop on the website, so one second, let's go ahead and hop on the website. So if you hop on the website, people are claiming that they're not really giving a distinction between the bag that's being discontinued, which is the puzzle bag, and the bag that they're going to introduce now is the puzzle edge. So let's see. So if we just simply type in puzzle, see what pops up. And I see these first two bags that pull up. They don't say new in. So let's go to, the old one, or let's go to a new in bag first. This one says new in. So if we click on this one, we can see, and let's get a little bit, see if we can get close. Okay, so if we click on this one and get a little bit closer, you can actually see where the stitching is, but you can actually see that these are different pieces of leather. So what people are saying is that they're not necessarily making a distinction in the name right now. So if we exit out of that, this one just says a small puzzle bag in satin calfskin. So this is the bag that people are used to. If we go back, and then we go up to this white bag right here. Okay, I see what people are talking about. Let me get a little bit closer. So I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I'll do a side by side. But if you look at this bag, this is the puzzle edge. So the puzzle has been discontinued, and the puzzle edge is going to be the bag that they are introducing. If you look very closely, if you just look at it, you can see that this is actually the same leather, or it's maybe only a few pieces, and it's just being overlapped. As opposed to the other one where it's literally just probably the inside of the bag, which is the leather, and then the pieces that are being puzzled together, the puzzle bag, right? So I see what people are talking about, right? And you see right here, it says a small puzzle bag in soft grained calfskin. Remember, we were talking about the different types of leather. The other one says it's satin, right? This is what people are talking about. They're saying that especially if you're a lover of the bag and the company, you're going to be able to tell. I mean, maybe someone just passing by or to the unsuspecting eye, you won't be able to tell. But if you get close, you can definitely see that the bag has changed, right? So then pricing, what does this mean for pricing? Of course, you're going to have different prices between the mini, the small, the medium, and the large, and also with different types of leathers. So if we come back to this and we look at it, we can see that these first two, which seem to be the same bag, or seem to be the new one, they are both $3,250, right? And they're both smalls. We have this one right here where it looks like it might be the old version. It just says Puzzle Classic. This one is $36.50. And then you have a mini that's $2,400. And then you have a puzzle bag in soft grain calfskin that's $3,650. So it doesn't seem like so much that the price is changing, which I know that's probably going to be a pain point or a question a lot of people are going to have. okay, well, since the bag is changing, what is the price going to start looking like? Is it going to be lowered? Is it going to be higher? We all know when it comes to the quality, we all know we're getting less quality, but they still want us to pay more and more and more and more, right? So I guess the question is, how do people feel about this? Are people going to stop buying the bag? Has the bag lost its luxury? I don't think so, but I do want to say this though. When it comes to luxury, that's what you're paying for, right? It's a luxury brand. It's a luxury company. It's a luxury fashion house, right? If we all of a sudden start taking away those luxurious and those complex compartments, what are we paying for? I think some people are going to ask the question or beg the question, what are we paying for? Are we paying for the namesake? As I said before, they're made in Madrid. They take 9 hours to make, about 75 pieces of leather. With it looking like the pieces of leather have been significantly reduced, is that going to make the bag less luxurious? Is it going to make it less complex, right? If I'm paying for a luxury piece, I want to make sure that the craftsmanship and the complexity is up to par, right? The other thing that I find very interesting is that Loewe has always stood on their craftsmanship. If you hop on their website, they have an entire website, or they have an entire page dedicated to their craftsmanship. I find it very interesting that the puzzle bag is now being reduced when it comes to the pieces of leather, but that's something, or that is a part of the foundation of your brand. That is what you stand on. With the craftsmanship or the construction of the bag, it seems like that because it's also going to be less pieces of leather, the bag might be a little bit more structured, a little bit more rigid. And I know for a lot of people, when it comes to structure or the lack thereof the structure, or like the bag, it's very not common, but it's very relaxed. It's a very casual bag, right? You can dress it up, you can dress it down. But I think a lot of people are also talking about the construction and how it might just be a little bit more rigid because it's just one piece of leather. But the craftsmanship, if we're all of a sudden going to take it down from 9 out, it takes 9 hours to make, it has the 75 pieces. Now we start talking about production. It's going to take less time. It's going to be easier. It's not going to be as complex. The price of production goes down. Your profit margin goes up. We're still paying the same price. We might even be paying more. And I think at this point, we're sort of used to it. I gave this example before when it comes to brands discontinuing and when it comes to brands changing things. If you did not know, I believe it was in the early 90s or the 2000s, Chanel. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people are looking now for Chanel vintage, especially when it comes to the classic flap. If you did not know, the actual hardware on the Chanel classic flap was actually plated, or it was plated in gold hardware. Now it's not. Another bag which I have always loved and I really wish they would bring back and make it into a mini bag. I do have the small version from Dior, is the Dior Ever bag. And I also want to say at this point, the Diorama as well. I remember that because Rihanna was the ambassador for that and I loved the campaign. But I think at this point, we kind of expect, or we're not surprised when brands do certain things. Like I said, the quality, but the price continues to go up. But I think this one is surprising because it has been such a staple since it was debuted. And from what most people say, once they get the bag, they become the lover of the brand and they continuously buy. They continuously buy the bag. I do know Janae from High Low Lux, I believe she has 2 or 3. A lot of people do get them, from secondhand, but I think if the opportunity presented itself, or if they found the correct colorway, they would still buy directly from the company. I just think it's interesting that this is the bag that they have chosen to discontinue, or this is a bag that they have chosen, let's say they have chosen to alter the construction, and now they're going to be it's going to take less time, less leather, it's going to be less complex, and it's going to be easier to make. And I think at the end of the day, I think for a lot of people, or I think the question, like I said a little bit in the beginning of this video, what are we paying for when it comes to luxury? Are we simply paying for the name? Are we paying for the prestige? Are we paying for the quality? what necessarily are we paying for? Are we paying, because it's Loewe? Are we okay with now the construction might not be as complex? Are we okay with that it might not even be made in Spain anymore? Are we okay with it with it being less complex? Are we okay with it not having as, different pieces of leather? Are the consumers okay with that? It's the same thing that we keep hearing as far as Chanel. Chanel, a lot of people feel like they're just kind of resting on their names and they're just kind of debuting and sending out all these bags and all these ready to wear. But where is the quality? I think especially right now, people keep talking about quiet luxury. People keep talking about the recession. People are being a little bit more frugal. People are being a little bit more cautious with their money. And I think for a lot of these brands, especially, I believe, was it in 2021 or was it last year? It was either 2021 or last year, where you just kept seeing price hike after price hike after price hike. We recently had to talk about Louis Vuitton and how their prices are going up as well. I know YSL had a price increase. I know in the beginning of this year, Fendi with the Peekaboo had a price increase. That bag, I believe now, is around $4,500, and that's for the ICU Petite, okay? So we can't even imagine what the rest of them are like. And then when you start adding sequins and fur and leathers and exotic leathers, right? So I think for a lot of people, this is coming as a shock, because like I said in the beginning of this video, when I think of Loewe, the first thing that pops into my mind is the puzzle bag. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you have one? Did you think that you were going to buy one? Have you been on the lookout for one? Do you think that it's really going to make a difference? I just want to remind you that here on YouTube, I do upload videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And of course, right here, I'll put my Instagram handle. Thank you so much for hanging out with you guys. Bye.
We always have it coming.